And we're so concerned with what's happening in Maui, we thought we'd ask you to do something about it. You being other billionaires? I know, just like regular normal people. Right, okay, but you're giving 10 million. Well, we've committed to giving 10 million. What does that mean? Well, we haven't actually given it yet, but we're committed to giving it via you. Sorry, what was that? We're committed to giving the 10 million through your donations. What do you say at the end there? We'd like you to donate, and that's how we'll get to the 10 million. I thought that you already pledged the 10 million. Well, we've sort of committed that on behalf of you. So you haven't given 10 million, then you've just set a goal of raising it. Well, so you've committed other people's money to your own charity you just set up. With disasters like this, the number one need is money. Aren't you a multi-billionaire? Well, yes. Like $1 billion is 1,000 million. And you have multiple billion. Yes. And you also own 2,000 acres in Maui. Don't you have both the means and the moral obligation to help the community you live in? Hello? Oprah? Guys, I think she's Mitch McConnell.
It's funny because it's true and it's a scam within a larger scam. And I personally want to donate. No, excuse me. I want to pledge $1 gazillion to end cancer. Good guy now. Welcome back, beautiful and amazing human beings. My name is Luke Rudowski here of WeAreChange.org, and there's a lot of absolutely crazy, wild, and bewildering news to get into today, as of course we have more depressing news when it comes to America's youth that is doing worse off than ever and probably going to be getting worse from here, as of course we have more sensationalistic, crazy, wild, bombastic news from Ukraine, where the situation there just took a turn for the worst. We're going to be talking about that, plus a lot more, all here on this independent media broadcast. If you like the shirt that I'm wearing, you can get it on thebestpoliticalshirts.com, and the clip that we played in the beginning of this broadcast was done by this incredible woman that someone reshared online. I have no idea who she is, but she did an incredible job describing the latest bewildering statements by eugenicist and population control enthusiast Oprah Winfrey, who, according to some reports, has a lot of private firefighters and security guards protecting her vast fortunes and mansions that she could very easily house a lot of the residents now of Maui that lost their homes there, even just temporarily, which she's not doing. As a lot of people have some serious questions about her pledges that people legitimately have some serious concerns about. And if you know who this young lady is, please let us know in the comment section below so we could attribute her channel and promote it down in the description below, because she did an incredible job and definitely deserves all due credit for this amazing, hilarious video that absolutely more people need to see. As of course, if you're not laughing, you're crying at the awful situation that many powerful people have created in this world, where now 77% of young Americans are, quote, too fat, mentally ill, and on drugs to join the military, according to a latest Pentagon study that American Military News is reporting, qualifying that the majority of young people do not qualify for military service, highlighting not only a bigger problem for the U.S. military, but for this country. If the young people of this nation are too fat, too obese, too drug-laden to even operate a frickin' drone through a remote control, how in the world does this country have a future with the youth of its nation absolutely riddled, destroyed, mentally and physically defunct? How in the world are we going to prosper and continue as a nation where so many young people have fallen victim to the huge industries that really control our government and abuse its power and authority to do whatever they want with us, as they are making us more fat, more sick, more pathetic, more weak than ever? And this is no accident. This is no coincidence. This has been happening for a very long time, as of course we've been speaking out against it for many years now here on this independent media broadcast. Almost 18 plus years now, we have been screaming against this anti-human agenda that has riddled and destroyed this country from inside and out. As of course, the last 3 years and all the health recommendations, lockdowns, and restrictions by the federal government on your life definitely didn't help, as other studies are showing how young children are dealing with cognitive learning functions that have been absolutely obliterated through lockdowns and mask mandates that some people in the establishment can't wait to bring back. As of course, learning disabilities, mental illness is on the rise, especially when it comes to the American youth. So is anxiety, so is depression, so are panic attacks that are becoming more and more common by the day, as of course people have relinquished a lot of their own personal responsibility, a lot of their power, and they have given it to a lot of tech oligarchs, a lot of multinational corporations that of course are keeping you safe from information and from politicians that dare to question the status quo of today. As we are learning from a Virginia-based content analysis and media watchdog group that any serious challenge against President Joe Biden is being obliterated in the search algorithms, hiding, of course, many of his rivals, as he is using the full might of the Department of Justice to go after them at the same time. This as the corporate media keeps fighting for tax incentives for the same billionaire class that now wants to destroy trees and bury them in order to make the weather gooder. Yes, you heard that correctly. There's now a deliberate effort to cut down trees and to deliberately destroy them and bury them in the ground in order to make the weather gooder. This is a plan by another billionaire who, by the way, met with this billionaire, Miss Oprah Winfrey, a few years ago, along with David Rockefeller, Michael Bloomberg, Ted Turner, and other eugenicists, people who believe in population control, in order to discuss literally population control. Now, this meeting was secret. It was off the record. The corporate media called this the Good Guys Club, when admittedly, even though the meeting was secret, they literally discussed how to call the population of the world, which I would say, looking at this latest Pentagon study, is already active and happening right now in front of our eyes with the utter despair and destruction of the American youth. And that's one reason out of many reasons we created wearechange.shop, our own line of health supplements, which you should check out. We Are Change Shop. Do your own research, do your own due diligence, get your blood work, talk to your medical professional. As of course, if you've been a member of LukeUnfiltered.com, you have gotten the rundown of the larger attacks on your health, what to do about them, alternatives to them, the latest tips, the latest tricks, the latest psyops not to be a victim of, all discussed on LukeUnfiltered.com. As right after this video, we are going to have a special video only available for members of LukeUnfiltered.com, directly centered towards giving you the best advice that we could personally give you. As of course, LukeUnfiltered.com members will also be getting free tickets, which we have a limited supply of, to a major event that me and the Beanie Man Timcast will be doing this October 6th in Miami, Florida. And along with brand new spanking videos, ticket giveaways, contests, sweepstakes, 3 master classes, a forum, a members-only store, you have a lot of offers of value here on LukeUnfiltered.com. If you haven't signed up yet, what are you waiting for? It's quick, it's easy, it's simple. You click right here, you put in your information, and we will see you there right after this broadcast with the continuation of a conversation that is definitely a little bit more spicy than what we're allowed to have here on this platform. That conversation, those topics, all available and coming to you right after this one. As of course, we are still not done here, as there are some latest developments coming from Ukraine that are absolutely very troubling, and we definitely need to talk about. As of course, for many years now, we have been warning you about the corruption inside of Ukraine, where many government officials and bureaucrats have abused their positions of power and screwed their people over. This, as we're getting the latest article that's titled, "Where is the Money? Military Graft Becomes a Headache for Ukraine," as we just had the removal of the defense minister in Ukraine during an actual war. This is a major cabinet shakeup inside of the Ukrainian government right now that is absolutely worth talking about, as of course, your tax dollars, predominantly, American money, has been sent in increasing amounts, along with weapons and the latest, greatest technological advancements to kill and maim human beings, has been sent over there. Where has it gone exactly? Where did this huge investment by the American people go to? Well, that's a question that a lot of people can't answer, as there are many intelligence threats and reports coming out of a lot of very bad, sinister people getting a lot of the weaponry that was meant for the Ukrainian people that has ended up in the hands of a lot of really bad people in Europe. You add that to the rising crime in Europe with criminal organizations and enterprises using, of course, immigration as a form of recruitment and organization of criminal gangs. And as even CBS News reported, you have a very serious situation on your hand where a lot of the weapons are currently being sold on the black market and not being used to, of course, defend Ukraine. Now, putting in a new defense minister during a war is a major move that is highlighting some major problems for Ukraine, as many news organizations are pointing out to the problem of a lot of missing weapons, which we hope this defense minister is held responsible for. As of right now, we do not know if that's going to be happening. But replacing the defense minister, the chief guy of this entire war, during a war is a very problematic move. As of course, Volodymyr Zelensky, the president of Ukraine, has promised a crackdown on the corruption inside of that country that clearly is way bigger than a lot of other people have expected it to be. As it's fair to say that a lot of Ukrainian bureaucrats and politicians have used the very lucrative situation of being supported by the United States for their own personal gain, sacrificing the lives of their soldiers and their people while, of course, enriching themselves, which is something that, in my opinion, should be criminally prosecuted. As, of course, Ukraine also came out and just declared that Russia has struck another NATO member country, Romania, as Romania is now denying the reports of them being struck by Russia. Now, this is not the first time that Ukraine has made such outlandish and salacious, but also very dangerous declarations, as, of course, their missile defense systems accidentally hit a farm in Poland, killing Polish citizens, which they automatically blamed on Russia. After an investigation, that came out not to be true, and now with the Romanian government denying the reports of the Ukrainian government, this highlights yet another very desperate situation by the Ukrainian government that is making many people fear of a potential Gulf of Tonkin-like scenario that could be a major incident that makes other countries involved in this larger proxy war between the East and the West. All of this is happening as Russian state television is now threatening to use nuclear weapons on the United States, as there have been a lot of other reports of significant Russian nuclear military hardware being moved around recently, highlighting a very tumultuous, dangerous situation that sadly in America, very few politicians are absolutely against. RFK Jr. is one of those politicians, so is Vivek Ramaswamy, and so, of course, is the former president of the United States, Donald Trump. All politicians that, according to the latest search results, are being hidden away from the American public, as the corporate media is fully dominated by a lot of war hawks, neoconservatives, and bloodthirsty individuals connected to the military-industrial complex that cannot stop beating the drums for war. That's literally the majority of the corporate media. One of the few anchors that, of course, questioned the whole war narrative was, of course, Tucker Carlson, America's #1 news anchor that was promptly fired for still unknown reasons. This as RFK Jr. just recently came out and talked about how the billions that have been sent to Ukraine should be invested in healing the farms of American people that are struggling with depression and addiction, which a lot of Americans would argue is desperately needed and a better use of funds. As, of course, this war between these empires is absolutely ridiculous. There should be a ceasefire, there should be a detente, there should be a negotiation, and it should stop the further life loss of all the innocent people involved here that do not need to die. Money could be used and invested in helping people instead of killing them, and I think RFK Jr.'s proposal definitely is one that is garnering a lot of attention and definitely should be talked about more. This as Donald Trump has even waffled on the current situation in Ukraine, and previously, just a few weeks ago, even described a situation where he wants Europe to do more and to invest in the war effort, spending more of their money on this endeavor, which, again, in my opinion, is absolutely pointless. There's no winners in war. There needs to be a negotiation where both sides come to the table. Both of the sides will have to give up something. Both of the sides will not be happy, but at least we end this dangerous situation that is escalating out of control and creating absolute suffering for so many human beings. It's not just the people of Ukraine that are paying the ultimate price. It's not just the soldiers from Russia. It's not just also the poorest people in this world that through the grain exports and imports are having their lives disrupted, but it's the entirety of the world. The poorest people are being affected by this war, especially when it comes to the energy policies that are directly affecting them inside of Europe. And to me, this war is foolish, and the people, the politicians, the few of them that are raising their concerns about this, Vivek, RFK Jr., and of course Donald Trump, I think when they are voicing their concerns for it, should be heard, listened to, as of course their voices are dearly needed in the national discourse that is just motivated by war hawks. If you agree with that, share this video with your friends and family members. Out of those three individuals, which one do you think would actually change the situation in Ukraine the most? Let me know down in the description below. Is it Vivek? Is it RFK? Is it Trump? Let me know which one you think is the best one when it comes to addressing this larger, huge problem that the world's poorest people are paying for. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for you guys actively watching. I got one more video coming your way on lukeunfiltered.com. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for you, and that's why I love you guys. Stay tuned for more here on wearechange.org.